what's up, guys? We are with Mark Turley, who is a drummer, a guitarist, a singer, a producer, a math teacher.
The list goes on.
One of the busiest guys I know. One of the busiest guys I know. How many bands are you in, Mark?
Currently, there's my so-called band, Bridge Under Fire, Against the Giants. So 3 really. Then I do like solo Operation Hennessy stuff whenever there is a gap. That's what I'll fill in with something else.
I don't know how you have time. We have like a couple side things, and we're like we freak out about it.
Yeah.
I have a problem saying no. Like that's the end of it.
Do you sleep? Like we stay up late sometimes when we have to go to work, and we're like hating
on
our
Sundays.
lives. Sundays.
Sundays I usually sleep.
Sunday's the best day.
Yeah. Well, that's like. So everything books out different months, and like the cover band books out like 4 to 6 months in advance. So when they're like, "Can we do this show?" I'm like, "Yeah, the world will probably end by then. I won't have to do it. Like, yeah, let's do it. Sign me up.
Cool.
Maybe something bad will happen. I don't know." And then when you finally get there, and you're like, "No, that's now we have to do it." I'm like, "Oh, why did I agree to do this?" So yeah, it's just constantly being tired and just like, "Oh yeah." But then, do you want to do this in 4 months? Yeah, I mean, why not? Who knows?
Yeah, and then
who knows what's going to be in 4 months?
That's like hanging out with people. You make plans, and you're like, oh, did I actually say yes to making those plans?
Yeah, it's constantly that.
Yep.
That's everything. Like, the thought of doing stuff, I'm like, this is great. And then getting out of the house to do it is when I'm like, all right, let's do it.
You drink a lot of coffee?
I drink my fair share. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I have friends who are like have rules where they're like, I can't drink coffee after like 5 or 6. I'm like,
oh no, that's not me.
Yeah, no. There's lots of late night coffee stops, so you gotta have it.
Yeah, you're in a unique position because of how many bands you're in and the diversity of your band. So you mentioned Operation Hennessy, which is a solo project, and I feel like every band that you're in sounds totally different. Against the Giants is way different than Bridge Under Fire is way different than...
And you do something different in each one?
No, I mean, so Against the Giants, I play drums. Bridge Under Fire, I play guitar and sing. Operation Hennessy, I play guitar and sing. And then for my so-called band, I'll play guitar for like 3/4 of our set, and because we all kind of trade off singing. So then for usually the end of the set, I'll go play drums, and our drummer will come up and sing. So it's usually guitar or drums. I filled in on bass for other bands, but usually guitar and drums are like my main thing. That's what I normally do.
Yeah. You're in a unique position to settle the age-old debate, though. What is better, a cover band or an original band?
It's more what do you like doing,
not
original. What's better.
Original.
What's better?
Always better.
We can't be... You want to be crapping on cover bands?
Yes, I do. I will.
You will say it all day long. I don't know. I'm a big fangirl of cover bands, but I'm a big fangirl of original bands.
Okay, so here, my whole thing is...
if nothing's going on, I'm going to go to a cover band.
Sure.
I guess so. My number one is always going to be original.
No, and I get it, yeah. So, cover bands are real fun. Everyone loves candy. It's great candy. When I was younger and learning to play, just like, 12 years old, I mean, I'm like, oh my god, I fucking love Nirvana, and then they're your favorite band for a week, and then you're like, oh, I've heard Rage Against the Machine, and then they're your favorite band for a week, and you're just getting into all these bands, and I remember like first finding out like, oh, there are local bands, there are like kids and like high school bands, like friends of friends and stuff, and my cousin had like a tape, and it was this band. I was like, oh, I'm gonna look at the back. I'm like, I don't know any of these songs, and he's like, yeah, those are their songs.
That's the point.
And I was, I'm a kid. I was like, wait, what? They wrote it? He's like, yeah. I'm like, whoa, they're right. And the conversation was like, yeah, if you want to hear the songs, you have to see them. And I'm like, yes, that sounds really like, yeah, idiot, of course. But when you're like 11, you're like, oh my god, totally.
Light bulb, yeah.
Yeah, and so then when I started getting into music, I was like, oh, I want to do my songs. I want to do my stuff and write things. And my first band was just like playing with buddies in the garage. And it was like, all right, well, we've learned like 10 Blink-182 and Green Day songs. And I'm like, let's write something. And they were like, what are you talking about? And then I was like, oh shit, we gotta figure out how to write stuff. And that was that was a battle, and I was playing drums, and then I was like, teach me to play guitar, and I'll write something. And that kind of went through there, and then through like my whole life was kind of like, I want to play original music. And I loved original bands, and I just kind of shit on cover bands for years. And then we got into this whole 90s thing, was just kind of like, hey, we're going to do this. And I thought like, oh, because we're all in original bands. Like Caleb and Nick were playing in Department at the time. I was playing in Bridge Under Fire. Steve had been playing in like some metal bands before, and it was like, oh, we all have other stuff, so we'll just do this and we'll play like 2-3 shows a year. And then it quickly turned into like, oh, we're gonna play like 70 shows a year. And I was like, oh shit, this really kind of took off.
Oh, we're gonna play 90 shows
in 90 hours.
But
yeah,
you guys
or 90
are
hours. Yeah,
the legit only full 90s band, right, here in Q's?
I
Strictly 90s, like fun.
I've heard rumor there's another one, but I don't.
We
I don't
haven't
know.
heard of them, so
I'll-
they're imposters.
Okay, so we'll take that. Yeah,
Yeah.
They're covering our cover band.
Exactly.
We'll take it that way. Yeah, and then going through, as I was like trying to rationalize this in my brain, I was like, there's musicians and then there's artists. And like a musician is someone, if you can give them a piece of music, even like a saxophone player, you can give them like, play this jazz song or this classical piece, they can play it. They have musicianship.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you throw at them, they can do it. And an artist is someone who can create something and be like, this is mine. Only I can truly make it sound like me. And I think the goal should try to be both. Because I know a lot of people who have like a very unique voice or a very unique approach to an instrument. And when they've been in bands who have tried to cover a song, you're like, oh, that was a rough go of it. No, of course not. No, but like there are people who, like, you know, they've catered to what they can do, and they're great at it, and they're very unique, and that's awesome, and I love it. But when they try to do other things, it's just like, it doesn't make sense. And then vice versa, there are people who can play note for note, just shred, and as soon as you're like, cool, make something up, they're like, oh no, I can't. They don't have
They're
that
just
voice.
good at what they know.
Yeah.
That's that.
And so, I think you know, as somebody who's a musician, you should try to be able to do both, just to better yourself overall. But once I started thinking about it that way, I was like, oh, okay, there are like fucking awesome cover bands, and there are fucking awesome original bands, and it's just trying to like find the two. But if I had a choice, I would always play original stuff.
Yeah.
That's my long-winded answer.
Very cool. And you said to me before, I don't know if you coined this phrase or not, but you said that the cover band is the best job you've ever had.
Oh yeah, best job I've ever had, worst band I've ever been in.
Yeah.
It's for all of us who are. It is like, it's a great job. It's getting paid to go play Gym Blossoms with your friends. It's great. But it's not as rewarding as like an original band could be.
Do you feel like repetitive? I understand that original bands would play the same stuff, but then again, they would come up with new stuff, and then you'd get more new cool fans that are interested in the stuff you made up and things like that.
It's the thousandth time
but
somebody requests "Hey Jealousy,"
dude. It is, yeah. That's the thing.
Oasis. It's like all the drunk
time.
people, like
all the time. And it's like the way I tried to explain it to somebody was like, if you were a portrait painter, and like what you do is you do these portraits of people, and it looks great, and that's your thing. And then someone says like, "Can you paint my living room blue?" And you're like, "Well, no, I don't do that." But they're like, "Well, you're a painter, and I want you to paint. So come paint my living room, and I want it blue. Just paint it blue." And you're like, "Okay, well, fuck it." And you paint it blue. And then as soon as you're done doing this super minimal task, they're like, "Dude, I love the blue." And you're like, "Well, I could do so much more. I could do this whole portrait.
Yeah.
I've been practicing this craft
Detail.
my whole life to do this." And then they're just like, "Yeah, but I know blue, and I love blue, and you fucking crushed blue."
That's a good blue.
And you know what?
This is a cover band.
This is it. Yeah. Every time I see you, I just want you to keep painting blue. And you spend your life being like, I did perspective and shading and lighting and all this stuff, and it's like, dude, I don't know any of that. I know blue, and if you could just paint blue, I would love it. That's my constant like fight of like, I spent, you know, writing songs and arranging and learning how to play different stuff and write different stuff and draw from influences, and then it's like, if you could play Zombie, I'd be stoked. The same 4 chords, like, yeah, that would be amazing. So, but at the same time, I've had a lot of shitty jobs in my life, and any job where you're like, you know what? Yeah, I'm just gonna. It's a great job for 3 hours. I'll do this. That's awesome. So like, it's the best job I ever had. But as far as like rewarding your soul, it's like the worst band I've ever been in. And all the guys agree with. Like, we've all said that multiple times. We're like, yeah, sure, that's great.
I don't know how many people there is out there like me, where I'm like, I could be a fan of like the thing that's repetitively playing on the radio, but then I will discover like the coolest original. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's why I'm like, I could always go for a night out with a cover band, but like if there's something original that I want to go discover or learn, or I know them already, and I'm like, oh damn, they're good, I would go there first. Oh,
totally.
But as a backup plan, I'd always go jam out to covers, sure.
I mean, that's just being a fan of live music. Like, yeah, being a fan of live music is great.
Like, I turn on the most mainstream hip-hop, and he's like, that shit. And I'm like, I like this, but I also like that.
Yeah.
Like,
and also as a fan, or as a consumer, I definitely feel the difference between when we go out and see, we saw Against the Giants, when we played together. And like, seeing you guys play that compared to like seeing the 90s band is a totally different experience.
Okay, but
I also know every word to the 90s songs.
Yeah, and that's...
But Against the Giants, it kind of brings me back to my scene days. Like, it's not super hard, but it's not super punk. It's like, I don't know, I just remember like...
It's just a rock band. And that's... Well, get what you were saying.
I feel like anybody could get into it.
Yeah, well, that's... So getting back to what you were saying earlier of like, every band sounds different. So, one of my things of just creating and doing music is, well, you know, bands come and bands go and bands break up and whatever, but it's like, I don't want to keep doing the same thing. Like, so, you know, I was in this like shitty kind of pop rock band in high school and college called Marty, and we did that, and it was like, okay, we did that, and our songs were kind of basic, and that's what it was, but it got me... I learned how to book shows. I learned a lot of skills from it. And then after that, I played in a band called the Andrea Doria. And that band was like, let's get a little mathy. Let's throw in weird time signatures and stuff that's like, this song doesn't have a chorus, but it's still 4 minutes long. Like, let's do weird shit. And then when that ended, it was time for Bridge Under Fire. And I was like, well, now I want to sing in a band, but I want to, like, yell and sound aggressive. Before I just played guitar, and I kind of like that, but I want to add this other element, and I want to do that. And then I was playing drums in Stone Lord, that was like a 70s, like Zeppelin-y kind of rock band at the time sounding.
You would have loved them.
That band was so much fun. Yeah. And that kind of went out, and then I was doing Bridge Under Fire, and then we started this 90s band, and I was going for a while. I'm like, I want to play drums in a band again. So we started up Against the Giants, and it kind of had this Gaslight anthem-y, almost like Gym Blossoms, just like that. It was original, but it still had that rock sound to it, and I was like, I'm into that. And so it kind of was like, oh well, I don't have anything now that it just scratched of where it's like, okay, I don't have to worry about singing, I don't have to worry about playing guitar, and I don't got to do like crazy drum parts. I can just play and be like, this is just fun to listen to, and I just have to keep doing this, and cool, all right. And that's just kind of part of it. Like, I always liked doing something different, so.
You're kind of like the goal of what all of us young adults, like, we all want to like keep growing and doing and like whatever, and it's like all these projects in our heads, and we're like, how do we get to that from this? And you know, we want to stay true to what we're doing on that already, and it's like, oh my gosh,
it's like, definitely
you gotta
tough.
Juggle.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I have a lot of notebooks with a lot of just crazy ideas and arrows and things circled and crossed out.
Yeah, that's too.
Yeah, and it was just a whole series of like, I mean, it didn't all just start at once. I wasn't just like, let's be a fucking crazy person and do all of it. It was, no, it started with like, you know, there was this one band, and then, you know, he had the idea of let's do a record label, and then we started kind of doing that, and then other things kind of came along, and life just went on. Like, it's weird. Like, I just turned 34, but I feel like 24 was like yesterday. Because like that was when everything really started to like escalate, and I'm like, oh wow, yeah, you're a busy person. That's a lot going on.
Yeah.
So.
Do you have a favorite instrument? I think I know the answer to this.
I don't.
No?
I love them both for different things.
Yeah. I thought for
But
sure
it's
he was going to
like-
say guitar.
He can do so many things.
It's true.
They're all fun for different things. Like there are times like I'll, sit down and play a song that I know on guitar, but I'll play it on drums, just like fucking around or practicing, and it's fun. But it's all different. I don't know. It's all different stuff. Like I like writing on guitar because it's melodic. You can do this, but there's just something about drums that just hitting stuff just feels right.
Yeah.
And you're just like, yeah, it's got a beat. Okay.
Something
It's
I'll
all-
probably never find out for myself, because I'm not very talented musically, is what are like the pros and cons, do you think, of being in like a solo project versus being in a band?
So the pros of the solo project is you don't have to fight with anybody.
Yeah.
So.
Which, if you're in a band, you know what he's talking
Oh
about.
yeah, being in a band is dating 4 people at the same time who all hate each other, and yeah, you're just constantly dealing with relationships. So I think like the solo project thing is like, okay, well yeah, I can do what I want to do. The con is that you don't have, as far as songwriting, is that you don't have an editor,
Yeah.
so your songs aren't always as good as you think they are.
Yeah.
You're like, this is the best idea you ever had, and I was like,
You don't have anybody else's input.
yeah, nobody's
or anybody-
like,
yeah.
yeah, maybe that's not so great. So that's,
You fully realize an idea, and then you realize it's not good after you recorded it and maybe put it out an album.
yeah, like that, yeah.
2 weeks after the album comes out,
You're like, oh, that was a terrible idea.
yeah,
Like,
this
that's
song
bad.
Sucks.
Yeah, that's bad. I know some singer-songwriters who have like gone on tour by themselves, and like after like a few days, like they're fucking crazy because you're just like a few days alone by yourself in a car. Every crowded room you go to, you don't know anybody.
Dealing with strangers.
Yeah, like
Oh my
after a
God.
few days, it's like, man, you've been on, how long have you been on the road for? They're like, 3 days.
And
And you're like, oh, I thought it was like a few years, but okay, like, yeah. So I think that's kind of weird. I definitely prefer playing with a band more than solo. I will play solo a few times just to be like, you can do this. You got like more to prove it to myself to be
this.
like, you can do this, because it's kind of terrifying when you're like, oh, that sounded bad, right? Oh, it's me. Oh, I sounded bad. Oh, all right. Like that's kind of weird, and like I think 'cause I learned drums first. Even when I write songs, I kind of like hear what the drums should be doing in my head, and so even like playing solo, I'm like, oh, this fill would go right here, and nobody knows that but me. But all right, it just kind of weird. But yeah, I think it's more fun playing with other musicians. But playing solo is terrifying. To me, it's terrifying, but it's super rewarding if you can do it well. And I'm like, anybody who plays solo, I'm like, that's great.
Yeah.
Good for it.
Do you
You
think?
do
Hashtag goals.
Do it.
I would have to learn an instrument. which
When
is
we
a
grow
very
up, we
mental
want to
task.
be Mark Turley,
Yeah.
basically. I've got
It's
time.
not as great as you think.
So the thing that I love about you and LRS is that you guys are really like I think of you like a stable, like a professional wrestling stable. almost.
Nick would love that. And
Yeah.
I love that. And that's great. Thank you.
Because you guys, it's just a revolving cast of different bands.
We're the
all-
NWO of Syracuse. Is that what you're getting at?
Basically, and like a lot of you are in the same bands and like help each other out, and I think that's really cool. Was there a scene when you were coming up like that, or in your high school, I guess, in your area?
So it's weird. So like, I started playing in my first band in like 1999 or 98 or something, like around then. And so there was internet, but there wasn't like Facebook and where you could just and like Syracuse music scene forum.
Mhm.
So I was like, I want to learn to play drums, and I just happened to meet my buddy Jay in math class, who saw my drumsticks and was like, I play bass, we should jam.
Yes.
My buddy Steve plays
Sup,
guitar.
bro?
Yeah, I was like that. I was like, oh, okay, we all live down the street from each other. So anyway, so you started playing, and it wasn't until like I started seeing other kids at school who would be like, I was at this show the other night, and I was like, we show. What are you talking about? What's this Westcott place I hear about? And they're like, oh, the community center. And I'm like, oh, that's a thing? And so, like, early 2000s, like, hardcore was going on. Earth Crisis was doing their thing. And the whole, like, you know, Hellfest and all that was going on. But I had no idea. That was not my world. I was like, I love K-rock alternative rock and whatever's on the radio. And Third Eye Blind's the best. And, like, they still are the best. But so it was like that. I wasn't in the whole scene. And so it was like, well, we want to play a show. I was like, oh, I'll figure out how to book a show. So it was kind of coming at it from the outside and doing our own thing and working with that. And then, so I'd always kind of booked shows for my own bands and bands we were friends with, just because I was like, I don't know, nobody else is doing it for us. Like, and like, yeah, like Hex was booking shows here for forever. But like the hardcore and like metal and punk and all that scene was kind of like its own thing, and we were like over here, like we didn't do that.
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh no, it's kind of like poppier indie emo garage.
But you just wanted to be out there.
Yeah, we just wanted to play, and then so from doing that with band stuff, when we started LRS, Nick and I were like, oh, we'll do one record and we'll go out of business, and that'll be the end of it. And then we did it, and it did okay, and then we were like, oh, well, let's do another record. And that one did okay, and then that was Summer Cult, and then Summer Cult broke up, but it kind of got to where, like, the people who were into it, like, the bands we worked with were lifers, and those were, most of them were dudes and girls that are like, yeah, my band broke up, but I'm doing something else. And as you get older, a lot of your friends who will, you know, get married, have kids, and maybe like move out of town or whatever, some of them stop playing in bands, but some of them are crazy people who are like, no, I can't stop. I'm always doing something. And those are the people I think we kind of surrounded ourselves with. So, like, Summer Cult was Dylan, Marissa, Steve, and Alex. Marissa's now doing art stuff of, like, doing, like, woodworking and, like, crazy artsy stuff that's awesome. Alex now plays in Against the Giants. Steve plays in Bridge Under Fire. Dylan played in Bridge Under Fire for a minute, and now he plays in Highland Funeral. Yeah. And it's like, everyone's just kind of gone to do stuff, and because we all trying to help each other from the beginning, it was that thing of like, oh shit, we need a bass player to fill in for this, I'll call Dylan. Or like, oh, Steve can't make a tour, I'll call Streeter.
You would think that stuff, I mean, I don't imagine that it happens much more outside of your guys' circle. I really don't.
I
don't think people stick together like that. I think they're like, they think they're in competition, which is ridiculous because everybody should stick together for the most part.
Yeah, it was always kind of like,
obviously there is competition. I'm just saying, like, if you guys help each other and keep playing out,
yeah,
that's the point.
Judge Gaza posted something a few years ago that, paraphrasing, was like, oh, there's a farmer in this field who grows corn and a farmer here who grows corn. And this guy gives some seeds to the other guy, and he's like, well, no, we're in business against each other. And he's like, no, cross-pollination. If you grow shit, it's going to affect mine and hurt me. Mm-hmm. But if I give you good stuff, we're both going to do better. And yeah, that's the idea. Like, don't shit on the other band that they got that show and you didn't get that show. Cool, I guess their career's made now from that one show.
I know.
I guess that's the end of it. Wow, they opened for that one band. That's terrible. Like, no, go to that show, buy tickets, buy merch, and then book a show with them. They're going to bring any fans they gained over to you. Like, it keeps growing. And, you know, that's the whole thing of, like, someone in that band's going to quit, and maybe you can take that job if you're...
And you'll look good because you're still a friend and dedicated.
Yeah, it just keeps going. And it was always just this... I don't know. I thought it was kind of weird when I started teaching and realizing that other people don't have, like, the crazy musician friends. When everyone's just like, oh, go to bed at 8 o'clock on Friday night. Did you see that new show on Netflix? No, I was out. Really?
That's weird.
That's weird.
It's weird when you're in the world doing things.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, and then I'm like, wait, so other people don't have like crazy musician friends in their life who just like, yeah, I'm going on tour with $20 in my pocket and see what happens. Gonna go cover 5.
That's the new thing.
Yeah, I was like, oh, all right, sure. The other joke was like, surround yourself with crazy people because they don't understand the word no.
Yeah.
So that was like a lot of the musicians would be like, start a record label. Let's put out stuff on vinyl, and let's just. I want a copy. You want a copy. I'm sure 298 other people want a copy.
Yeah.
Let's throw in all our money and do it. Like, yeah, no. Why would I not do that? That sounds like a great idea. Like, and that's how a lot of like this crazy shit got started. I'm like, am I gonna say no?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Speaking of another crazy thing that you were a part of, I called you one of the busiest people that I know. Somebody who might be a little bit more busy than you. John Michael Haggerty.
It's crazy. Person.
Michael John Haggerty.
We're gonna edit this
Tots.
out.
He's just Tots.
That's my dude.
He's
Yeah,
Tots.
yeah.
Yeah, I love
I
him.
was confused.
I love him. He's great.
Yeah. So you guys collaborated for the Crafted Festival,
Yeah,
and that was a huge success.
that was super fun.
You guys are doing that again, right?
Yep, we're doing October.
Very cool. I'm
I
excited
think
about
the
that.
5th, I think is the date. 5th and 6th, I think. The Saturday, Sunday of that weekend.
Yeah.
Fall's my favorite, so I'd rather be going during that time.
Yeah, it was, it was a 2-day arts and crafts and craft food and craft beer event outside Wildflowers and up by the train tracks, up by the rail line up there. And he had gotten at me, it was like, I want LRS to do a stage. I want 16 bands. I'm like, okay, figure that out. And so, yeah, we had to piece together 16 bands and 2 back lines and 2 stages and run all that going. And
He's another one with lots of ideas.
oh yeah, and him and I get together like
I
we
bet
should do
it's-
this, and then we can top it. And I'll see you, and I'll raise you. That yeah, we got a lot of crazy
I
ideas.
don't think
back
he
and forth.
sleeps either.
Oh no, it's great that he doesn't do any of it from a place of greed.
No.
It's never I'm gonna do this and take all the money, and then I'm gonna like he doesn't. He's like
No.
He's
I want-
the nicest.
yeah. It's anytime where I'm like, hey, I need this to happen. He's like, well, don't make it happen. Are you gonna say how or like, no, we'll figure it out. We'll just make it happen.
Yeah. Like paying the bands, even when I got rained out, I was paid, and I appreciated that. That's how you do good business.
That was a good time.
And-
I mean, the rain wasn't a good time. Overall, I was glad that fans were able to get paid
Exactly.
for doing the whole thing.
So thank you for that hookup.
Yeah.
So what's coming up next?
So what is coming up next?
It's 2 weeks, right?
2 weeks. Yeah, August 3rd. Counterculture Cassette Company. The new kids on the block.
Yeah, so I was inspired with my best friend Matt by him and his best friend Nick in their venture, LRS Records, to start my own cassette company last year. And we haven't done much this year. Matt's really busy, and everybody has a lot on their plate. But the point of it all is,
Did he just get married or is that coming up?
it's
That's
coming
in,
up in
like, a
September
month.
1st.
It's coming up. Okay.
Yes. So that's coming up. So, this was a really cool idea that you came to me with at the end of last year. So Bridge Under Fire recorded an entire album, basically.
Yep.
But you didn't want to go the traditional route of releasing a CD. You wanted to do something a little bit more different, a little bit of an experiment. And so you got the 4 record labels that are in Syracuse, or 4 of the record labels that are in Syracuse. LRS, O Records, More on Matter Media, and the New Kids on the Block, as you said, Counterculture Cassette Company. And you've had some successful shows. More on Matter released a really cool limited cassette. Each one is a different color. And so what we are doing is August 3rd, we're going to have a show, $10 admission, and everybody who comes in is going to get a free t-shirt. It's a really cool album design. I'll probably post it somewhere on our page, and I'm sure you'll see it if you check out the event page on Facebook.
All different colored shirts.
Yes, all different
So
colored
each
shirts.
one's unique.
Yes. And
This is a legit souvenir.
dark colored shirts are going to be printed light and vice versa, so it's going to be really cool.
So you got to get there on time to get your size in a color that you like.
Yes. And we're going to also do some cool things. I think we're going to set up a digital photo booth, so you can do the whole photo booth thing with some props, and
We got a lot of props.
you can text or email that to yourself.
weather permitting, it'll be outdoors in that little alleyway, just echoing through downtown.
So we're really excited about that. We have obviously Bridge of the Fire. My band, Manadale Music Collective, is playing an acoustic set. We have Sympathy, which is a band that we put out their cassette last year, and they're really cool. One of our favorites in Syracuse. And Participation Trophy.
Yeah. My boy James, he's doing his solo acoustic thing. He's starting a new band. I think they're still like just jamming right now. They're like just figuring it out. But
That's a very creative name.
Participation Trophy. I love it. Yeah. It's yeah. He was, before we got to this level of crazy. I was teaching guitar lessons and drum lessons. He was one of my guitar students like 10 years ago, and then he was one of our first interns. So him and Matt Blake and Ryan Shannon, who used to be in the Blues Dragons, were three of my guitar and Ryan bass students. And then when we were like starting a record label, they ended up becoming our interns, and then we put out albums by all their bands.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of, Lost Leader album, I heard.
Yeah, Matt's thing.
Very cool. I think it was only three.
Yep, he did three songs.
Tracks.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it. Matt is incredibly talented.
He played everything on it. He played drums, bass, guitar, sang.
Wow, he's
crazy.
He's everything. And his vocals, his vocals were very good on this album. Right?
Oh, it was insane.
Oh, yeah, I liked it a lot.
He he got at me and was like, I want to record some songs next week. And I was like, oh, this is like Blues Dragons album? He's like, no, the guys are busy and like we're still hammering out our stuff. This is like some other thing I got. And he just came in. I'm like, oh, all right. And it's like, so do you need me to like play drums or anything? Or what are we doing? He's like, nah. And I'm like, oh, okay. And yeah, he's like, I want to put like a 4-part vocal harmony on this one part. And I think that song, Suzanne. And he's just like, Suzanne, Suzanne, Suzanne. Just like singing all the parts. Like, cool, we're doing that. So there's like 5 Matt Blakes singing at you at one point.
That's awesome.
It's great.
I was wondering if anybody else, actually that specific part.
Yeah, no.
If anybody else. That's funny.
He was just like, oh, he's like, you could hear him like mapping it all out.
Step back, I got
and just
this.
did like all 4 parts.
Matt
and
Blake times 4.
Yeah.
We did a thing, was it last year?
2 years ago. A while ago.
So another big idea Mark had was to have people who never really played together before come here, write a song in an hour, and then record it in an hour.
You just played this for me the other day, and it
just
was sick.
found it, yeah.
It
It was super fun.
It was like 2 days ago.
It was
We've been
super
together
fun.
for a year, and he busts us out. He's like, by the way, I have to show you this. I'm like, oh, yeah.
I forgot we did it till he told me. I was like, oh, we did pick those songs a while
Matt
ago.
Blake took charge that day and really impressed me. I mean, I don't know anything musical, so like anybody could probably impress me, but Matt really was like, yeah.
No, there was a good
mapped
beat
out
and
the whole
everything,
song.
and the lyrics, it's like, okay.
Yeah, I think we
What?
did like 2 or 3 of them, I think.
Yeah.
And it was all, just all different people. It was during the summer, so I was on break, so I had time, and Dylan was doing video of it. Before he was like working full-time all the time, and so like we were just trying to throw this project together, and by the time it was like wrapping up, he ended up getting hired to do all this work full-time, so he couldn't get all the video stuff out. But yeah, I was just calling like, I don't know, we know all these musicians, we know all these bands, let's just like set some dates and be like, hey, who wants to show up and do this thing? And it was kind of tough trying to get, because we would have to do it on like a Wednesday at like 3 o'clock, so you'd have to find who's not working at that time. But yeah, I was just like sitting out here just like with the mixer and the microphone, just like listening in as everyone's like hashing it out, like, no, it should go like this, but then it'll go this way, and it's like, that's kind of cool.
That's very cool.
Little cards that say like 15 minutes left.
So you have a podcast with Nick, Long Range Sarcasm, which you do pretty much weekly.
Yeah, taking a few weeks off here and there because
summer vacation.
Sometimes we're busy.
Life.
Yeah. So.
But
yeah, usually it's once a week. Talk about music and art and
thrift store finds,
Yes.
vinyl records. Have some guests on, talking about stuff they're doing. Yeah, it's just hanging with my buddy in our basement and talking about stuff.
Right now.
Just like this.
Cool. Anything else you have any going on? Any releases coming out besides your own?
So right now, Bridge Under Fire is in the middle of this whole thing. So once we're done with the release that you guys are doing for us with the t-shirt design, we're gonna do the LRS release. Probably like mid-September-ish, late September. And what that's gonna be is they have they're USB drives that look like cassette tapes, and the USB drive comes out.
Yeah.
And because we've been a band for like almost 10 years, and it's crazy, there's a lot of records that we did in the past that we're not going to repress, just because it doesn't make sense to put out something that came out 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And but we still play those songs, so there are times when we'll play somewhere, and you know, I always hate when you go see a band and you're like, that one song hit me. What was that song? And they're like, oh, we don't. There's no way for you to buy that and take it home, or it doesn't exist anymore. So
I don't even have a copy of that.
Yeah, like there's stuff like that. Yeah, so I remember years ago seeing Long Since Forgotten, and it was before The Theft came out, and they played that song Vegas, and it was so different that I was like, oh, it's great. And I went to the merch table and I was like, how do I get that song? They're like, oh, you can't. And that record won't come out for another like 2 years, and they're like, so we don't have it. So I'm like, all right, well, we play these songs. So I want to we'll have 2 new songs available on this thumb drive. Yeah. And then we'll also have all of our back catalog. So if you are new to our band and you're like, I like what I hear, I want to hear more, you'll be able to buy this thumb drive that'll have our first EP, the 2 full lengths, our split 7-inch, and like these new songs. So here's like 50 songs. If you're into it, you're into it. So I got that we're working on. Against the Giants, just recorded a new EP. We parted ways with our previous singer, Dave, and so now our buddy Brendan joined the band, and Alex and Mike are singing, kind of trade off singing lead. So we did 4 new songs. Just doing the final mixes here for that. And we're going to do some idea of the t-shirt with a digital download. Try that out. As let's go down the pipeline now. And then me and Nick talked about getting back into doing the split 7-inches. We want to get back into doing that.
That's all?
That's all I got.
That's
coming
it?
I mean, I got
no
some.
Big deal.
I mean, I got like, you know.
You want to go out and take shots or something?
I mean,
you have time.
I got like 10 cover band shows in August. We could work around that.
That's cool.
We're all over the place.
Probably Monday at 10 a.m. It looks like. You're off of your day job in August.
Yeah.
Monday 10 a.m.
Yeah, we could do that. It's totally fine. I got a little bit of time. I can do that. You know, and then sometimes I like to hang out with my wife. You know, sometimes that's a thing.
She can come.
Yeah, it'll be great.
I was telling her all the things that you do before we came here, and she was like, does he have a wife? I was like, yes. He's just, how does he have time?
Well, whenever people bring it up, I'm like, yeah, she knows who she married.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, my first one was, does he have kids? Because I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah, no.
We have Nick.
We have Nick living with us, but no, we are team no kids, and it's. I mean, even when she met me, I was already playing in Bridge Under Fire. We were already like doing weekend tours and stuff. So it's like, I think I was playing in Stone Lord at the time. I was teaching guitar lessons. I was going to grad school. Like, it was a busy time.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of like, yeah, no, this is changing. That's kind of what I do. And so she gets it. Where it's like Friday night, like 8 o'clock, and I'm like, time to go to work. I'll be home at 2 a.m. All right, I'll be here.
That's funny.
So that's my life.
Cool. Well, here we have it. Mark Turley, LRS co-founder, man of many bands. It's been a pleasure talking to you, sir.
Thanks, buddy.
It's been fun.
It's been real.
See you later.
Keeping it interesting.